Kevin, obviously a lot of big moments in that game. First of all, what did you think of Tyler and then the job that your relievers did, obviously Nick and Pete?
Yeah, look, I thought all of them did really well. I mean, we limited the damage. We caused a little bit of havoc there with the walks, but you take out Stanton's two big home runs, and we pitched really well. But we got to do a better job moving forward on the walks. But look, we needed a win today. We had to find a win today, find a way to win, and we did. Those guys, pretty gutsy performances, certainly from Nick, Diego as well, and then Pete. You know, fell behind, wasn't pretty, wasn't clean, still a young pitcher. Give him a lot of credit for finding a way to get through that inning.
Then you alluded in your pregame that, you know, the Yankees might get creative with their pitching. They obviously did. What did you think of the way you guys kind of flexed your muscle there and hitting the homers that you did? Obviously, the other team gets talked about a lot for their power.
Yeah, I mean, look, Z's come on pretty strong for us here lately, and I was surprised personally that they went that early, but you know, we've done that plenty of times. So when it happened, we were kind of looking at where our lineup was set up, and then even from there, you're not sure exactly how many innings they're looking to get from Hap. So you play a little bit of a guessing game, a little bit of a chess match, but Z came up with just a big homer for us.
And the four homers overall, I think kind of an impressive show.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Randy, it's unbelievable what he's doing right now. Z, really good to see Meadows get going, and you know, Manny to separate the game right there was good. We just unfortunately we didn't get that shutdown inning that we were looking for, but we needed every bit of them.
Kevin, and you touched on Nick there for a little bit, but is that just Nick being Nick? I mean, he kind of comes in with 2 runners on, and it just seems pretty calm and just kind of makes big pitches.
Yeah, you know, he doesn't let the intensity of the environment get to him. I think that's what you see when you look up there in the strike throwing. I mean, he throws 20 pitches, and I don't know if he threw 2 or 3 balls, whatever it was, but it's just attack the entire time. He's got a knack for pitching at the top of the zone the way he does. That hitters, you know, it's tough to get to, and it's really tough to lay off of because they're strikes more times than not. He's been pretty special for us.
And then just kind of overall, were you pleased with what Glasnow gave you? You mentioned the 2 standing home runs, but other than that, it seemed like he
yeah, I mean, look, we were contemplating because his last inning of work was really good. You know, he goes back out and walks Hicks and felt like that was a time to go to Diego, bring a different look in there, let the more sinker slider approach rather than the 4-seam curveball approach, and see if we could offset it a little bit.
Kevin, after that Fairbanks-Frazier at-bat, you could have went out there and got him for Thompson, but you stuck with your guy. Just talk about why you made that decision. Pete's
been huge for us, and we got to have confidence in our guys that they're going to be able to find a way to get through it. We're all really happy he did. You know, they had options. I don't know what they do if we go to Thompson, if they bring a lefty in. But once he got the strikeout from Frazier, we were hoping that was going to settle him a little bit, and it looked like it did.
And I know you mentioned that you didn't know what they might do after Hap in terms of your decisions, but did your hitters make it a little bit easier for you in terms of pinch hitting decisions when they put up a 5-spot through 3 innings?
Yeah, I mean, look, when you score runs, it can negate, you know, offensive decisions, and certainly what they're trying to accomplish by giving as many looks as different looks. And the guys responded really well. They came up big for us with Manny and Z early on, and then obviously Margot in the first. I mean, Arozarena in the first.
Kevin, you mentioned at the top of the conversation that you guys needed to win this game, yet you were very confident early this afternoon. But what is it about these guys that they don't seem to fear anything for a team that isn't really that old? I mean, it's pretty much a young roster.
Well, I think last year's experience for the guys that were around certainly helps. And for the new guys that weren't around, when you go have the type of record that we did this year, 40-20 is pretty impressive. You build a culture of expecting to win. These guys expect to win. They were frustrated last night, but I can assure you, by the time they got on the bus, it was over with, and they were ready to come and compete again. So it's a really strong mindset for this guy. These guys, they've shown it time and time again. Just a lot of fun to be around them.
Questions from additional media now, thanks.
We talked about Austin yesterday and the speedy recovery he made. Probably a good appreciation for what he was able to do to get back, and he obviously was timed up, it looks like.
Yeah, he was, and he had good at bats. And I know that he just missed the ball earlier on. Had some lengthy at bats where he laid off some pitches, fought some pitches off, and I was glad to see him get a good result there. For us certainly, but for him too. I mean, he's put a lot of work in to get back to this point. It's so appreciated because we all know. I don't need to talk about how important Austin is to our lineup and what he's capable of doing when he's right.
And just going back to Nick for a second, would that be basically the equivalent of a seventh inning save?
Yeah, I would believe so. Yeah, we talk about trying to find that most pivotal point in the game to insert him, the highest leverage, and I didn't go back and look at the chart, but I think we all felt it was time to get him in the game.
Kevin, your guys combined for 18 strikeouts tonight. That's a new postseason record for a 9-inning game. What do you make of the swing and miss stuff they all showed tonight?
We struck out 18 times?
No, you struck them out 18 times.
Oh, yeah, I think it's a credit to our stuff, and that's saying something for that group over there because they're selective. They're just a very talented, very thick, very deep offense lineup. But it does speak volumes to the amount of stuff that, on a given night we can feature.
Thank you.
Kevin, what was the stress level like in that ninth inning in the dugout?
Pretty stressful. I mean, it's not ideal. You don't want to go out there and, with a 3-run lead and put the first two guys on base. But we got to do a good job of maybe trying to hide that a little bit, disguise it a little bit. That's the last thing you want your guys to feed off of. And I think that's what our staff does such a tremendous job of. All right, we walk them on to the next guy. Let's find a way to get the next guy out and kind of piece this together.
And under normal circumstances, without the 3-batter minimum, do you think you would have got him after the second walk?
Probably not, because I think there was a sense that they could go to, Gardner or somebody on the bench, and might not have been the ideal matchup for what we were looking to get with Thompson coming in. So, no, I'm glad that we were able to show a little bit of patience, and even happier that Pete was able to come through it.
Thanks, Cash.
Yep.
Thanks, everyone. Thank you, Kevin.
Mm-hmm.